and to just know that I was still there. Like I said, it wasn't in the physical realm, but I was still there trying to protect my son, trying to protect my baby. Because I didn't want him to feel no pain. I can recall way back when I was at a church service and the apostle there called me out and started prophesying to me. And he started saying that, God wanted to use me to help hurting women heal. And you be excited when God wants to use you. Well, I don't know about y'all, but with me, I was excited knowing that God wanted to use me, little old me, Miss Can't Get It Right. The one that just, had so many flaws and was like, what? Okay. I was happy that he, wanted to use me. So, as he was telling me, everything, and I was just, tears was just rolling, and I just kept telling God, yes, Lord, yes, Lord, whatever you want me to do, yes, Lord, yes, Lord, yes, Lord, whatever you want me to do, whatever you want me to say, wherever you want me to go, God, I'll go, use me for your glory, right? So then I would say probably maybe about 7, 8, 9, 10 years, down the line, I had this dream. And in my dream, I just hear gunshots. I just kept hearing gunshots. And, I'm like, what the world? I mean, and they was loud too, like they was just happening like for real, for real. And I remember waking up and I sat up and I was like, God, like, what was that? Because I had went to my daughter's house and for some reason I just didn't feel right that day. So I called my daughter and I told my daughter, I'm coming over there and spend the night because I just don't want to be alone. And that whole day was just like something, I don't know, out of the ordinary. Like I didn't feel right like that whole day. And anywho, back to what I was saying. I just, sat up and I was like, God, what is this? Then all of a sudden, I just started feeling pains like, they was like, it was like piercing pains, like hitting certain parts of my body. And I'm just like, God, like, what is this? I mean, because it was like literally hurting me. These pains just was just coming out of nowhere. And I was just like, God, like, what is this? What is this? And this was around maybe around like 2:30 in the morning. And I'm just sitting there just rocking back and forth, just crying like, God, what is this? God, what is this? What is this? And probably maybe about an hour later, I get a phone call saying that my son, my baby, Dre, had been shot and killed. He was dead. Like, what? And I so wanted to be like that operator. When the operator say, the number you have reached has been disconnected or is out of service. If you feel like you reached this call in error, please hang up and try your call again. And I wanted to say that so bad, like, wait a minute, hold on, like, hang up, call me back. You know, with something else, with some different matter of fact, don't even call me back. You know, this is how I was feeling though. And I just was like numb. And I literally just started screaming like, but God, you said that you love me. Why would you do this to me? And I remember just falling to my knees like, God, if I did anything wrong, please forgive me. I am so sorry. Please, Lord, please forgive me. Then I had heard that, one of the people had gotten away, and I was just like, Lord, let that be him. Let this be a mistake. Let this be, because no mother wants to hear that. That is a phone call that no mother wants to get. Because they always say that a mother shouldn't have to bury their children. But for some reason, I don't know, I was chosen to do that. And, just that night, it changed my whole world. It changed my whole world to the point where I just turned my back on God, and I told God, like, I'm not finna do this. I'm not finna to read another word. I'm not finna to, step foot in another church. I ain't finna sing another song. Anything that got to do with you, I ain't hearing it. I don't want to have nothing else to do with it. I'm not having it. And that's the way that I was feeling, because I was so angry at God. Like, why would you do this to me? And then, not long after all of that, he brought back to my remembrance and said, well, you said yes. And I'm like, huh? So he brought back to me that day when I was at this church and the apostle was prophesying to me. And I was like, but God, like, had I have known that this is what you were talking about, I wouldn't have accepted that. I wouldn't have done that. Those women can hurt. They, whatever. What? Like, you really mean to tell me that I had to lose my child in order to help help other hurting women heal? My God, today. Y'all, I guess well, I ain't even gonna say I guess, but that is the reason why God do not tell us the whole story of what he wants us to do. He does let us know that there's more that he require of us, but he's not going to tell us what we got to go through in order to get there. And he always told me, like, to whom much is given, much is required of. And I used to be like, well, okay, like, I mean, I couldn't understand that. And it was just like, okay, like, walking with God it's a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice. You're going to lose some people. You're going to have to take this walk alone sometimes. And it's man saying yes, yes. When you say yes, it's a sacrifice. But I'm learning in the end that it's all worth it. I didn't want to lose my son. And like I said, had I have known back then that I would have to lose my baby to help other women, mm-mm. He wouldn't have got no yes out of me. It wouldn't have been done. It wouldn't have not have been done. And it's just like, the thing about it is, after I went through it, God started sending people in my life to that I was able to talk to. Like, some of these people had already gone through the death of a child. Whether it was, by sickness or whether it was by suicide, it didn't matter, because we all had that one thing in common, and that was the death of a child. And it was like, not only was he sending me those people, but then I started connecting with people who was going to lose their child. And man, y'all, listen, it was, oh my God, I, mm, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. But in the meantime, God had given me strength that I didn't know I had. God had allowed me to go through that so that I can bring a word of encouragement to someone else who had already experienced it or was about to experience it. And I miss my baby, y'all. There ain't a day that goes by that I don't think of him. And his birthday is coming up in March. And a lot of times, when it gets close to his birthday or it gets close to the anniversary date of it happening, it's like I start feeling some type of way. And I just feel like the next few videos I'm going to be, talking about it because it's the only way that I'm going to be able to pull through. And I got to admit that some years are tougher than other years. There are years where I can just go through it and I could just, be okay. But then there's sometimes when I feel like I can't make it. Like I can't go on. Like I just, what I'm saying, just want to just give up and want to just, say, I don't know. And for some reason, like when I felt like God was telling me to get on here and talk about it, it was like, mm, it was like maybe this year was gonna be a hard one for me. And this year will make 16 years. And I just, I don't know. And it was just, like a lot of times that I still question God. Like, why me? Why would you choose me to go through it? Why would you, choose me? And the same question I get all the time is, why not you? You're stronger than what you think, you know? And it's just everything is just, it adds up, to God, giving me the name Stormwalker. And the thing about it is when he gave me the name Stormwalker, it was it was during a church service from the same apostle that had prophesied to me about God wanting to use me. Crazy, right? I mean, even like with the years, in between, just me just, showing up at, the apostles' church, during this time. And, and it was just like God was kind of like showing me how my son, he didn't go through this alone. That all of those pains, y'all, that I was feeling in my body, every sharp pain that I felt was where he was hit by a bullet. And it was oh my God. It was like, even though I couldn't be there in a physical way, I was there still shielded my child, trying to protect him from feeling the pain of being shot. And that was just knowing at the same time I'm hearing these gunshots in my head, feeling these sharp pains in my body that my son was being shot up, was being sprayed with bullets and left for dead in the street. And it was just to know the same time that I'm going through this, he's going through it too. And to just know that I was still there. Like I said, it wasn't in the physical realm, but I was still there trying to protect my son, trying to protect my baby. Because I didn't want him to feel no pain. And you know, when I talked to the prosecutor, she told me that after his first hit, the one that pierced him, that first shot, is the one that took him out, and he didn't feel nothing after that. Because he was already gone. Oh, God. Y'all don't know. I miss my baby so much. The heart that he had, you know, he wouldn't even have dreams like, you know, tell me, like, Mom, I would have these dreams about every time we would get ready to get on a plane, we was getting ready to go somewhere. Every time we would get ready to go on the plane before the plane we was getting ready to get on just blew up. You know, he used to say, he used to come to me with all kind of dreams. And I just knew God had his hands on him, you know, and I just knew that God was going to use him for his glory. That God was going to save him. But what I didn't know, that God was going to save him by taking him off of this earth. And I'm grateful, though, for the 22 years that God had given me to, you know, share with him. I'm grateful that God allowed him to live, because I was going to have an abortion with him. That's the crazy thing. I was going to have an abortion with him, and I couldn't have an abortion because by the time I found out I was pregnant, I was 5 months old. 5 months old. I'm sorry. I was 5 months pregnant, and I couldn't. I couldn't have no abortion with him. And I think that was another reason why I was so angry at God. Like, you stopped me from having an abortion with him, and then you allow him to get killed at the age of 22. And I was just so confused. I was just so hurt. I was just so angry at God. Like, I just didn't want to have anything to do with him. And right now, to this day, y'all, I promise y'all, I am so glad that God didn't turn his back on me when I turned my back on him. That he didn't let go of me when I let go of him. And, you know, he just telling me that this is part of my ministry. This is part of what he wants me to do. And even in that, he allowed me to um get a support group where, I was, like talking to women, and we were just sharing our stories. We was, we were there for each other, giving, each other words of encouragement, just hugging each other, just holding each other, and just, even though, our children, didn't pass away from the same thing, we still all had that in common. It was the death of a child. A walk that no mother wants to walk through. And even now, sometimes today, I still question God, but it's not gonna bring my son back. It's not gonna bring Jay back. It's not gonna bring him back. But I still question God. And he also, during that process, he also allowed me to write a book. And hold on, y'all. And like I was saying, even during that process, he allowed me to write a book. Well, he placed it on me and in me, to write a book, because it wasn't something that I would have done, you know. And it took me a minute. It took me a few years, to actually write it, because I just wasn't ready. And that's the name of the book. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to let go. I wasn't ready to lose my Dre. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready, y'all. I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready to step into that calling, to step into that part of my life where I had to help other people. I wasn't ready for that. And then, probably, like I said, it took me a few years to write it, but here it is. It's called I Wasn't Ready. And it is available on Amazon. And it did take me a while, to write. Like, I would start writing, and next thing I know, I'll be like, okay, well, I'm just gonna put it down, and I'll come back to it. Next thing I know, it was a year later, and I probably only had maybe like a chapter or two done, and and God was just like pressing me and pressing me and pressing me, and He just kept telling me that, Deborah, this is how you're gonna heal. This is how you're going to be able to help other women, because that was something that I kept asking him, like, God, how can I help these women when I can't even help myself? How can I lead these women? How can I give them direction when I don't even know where I'm going? And that's why he kept telling me, just write the book. There's healing in it. And so, I finished the book, and he told me to put it on Amazon, and I put it on Amazon. And it is available on Amazon right now. And it has been, it's been a while. And I hope and pray that, how it helps me, how it helped me to heal. That if you know someone, or if you are a mother and you have lost a child, to, get this book, because it will help you. It helped me. It will help you, you know. And y'all, I miss my baby so much. I do. And I know I'm gonna keep saying it because I do. And like I said, his birthday is coming up in March. And because oftentimes I just wonder, like, what would he be doing? you know?
he didn't have any children, so he didn't leave me with no grandbabies or anything. So it's like I have nothing but the memories to hold on to. And I just, I don't know, y'all. I just ask that y'all, to continue to pray for me, you know, and I just, I don't know. Everybody's grieving process is different. So, to you mothers out there, don't let nobody tell you when and how to grieve, because unless they walked in our shoes, they'll never know. They'll never know the pain that we feel. They'll never know the numbness we feel. They'll never know how long we're in denial. They'll never understand that. So, if you don't feel like getting up out of bed, don't. If you don't feel like combing your hair, don't. If you just want to just go outside and just scream real loud, do it. Do it. Do whatever helps you. And one thing about it is, just don't give up on God. Because God was there for me. He was there for me. And his word said that he is not a respecter person, so what he'll do for one, he'll do for the other. So I'm just asking you to, just hold on to God. Just hold on to his unchanging hands. Hold on to him. And don't let him go. Don't let him go. Because he knows. He knows our pain. He know everything that we went through. He know the struggles that we had going through it. He know all of that. And I'm just asking you to just, just hold on. But I don't want to hold you guys up long. I know this is it's a touchy subject. No one wants to talk about, and I'm finding that out. It's like no matter how hard that I try to reach out to people, concerning, people who have gone through, even try to, want to sit down and have an interview with them, and just, talk about it. And it's just like, I don't know. I don't know, but I guess whenever they're ready. Cause I had to get there, so I'm gonna let them get there. So they do know that whenever they want to share their story, whenever they want to talk about it, that I'm here. And I just wanted to get on here because I like I said, I felt like God wanted me to get on here and just talk about it because his birthday is coming up, and it helps when I talk about it. It helps me get through it. It helps me. So I hope y'all don't mind, and I thank y'all for riding the waves with the storm walker, you know, and always remember that God loves you with an everlasting love, and so do I. And if it be God will, I will see you guys on the next video. Until then, God loves you, and be blessed.